everybody. Welcome to Radio Labyrinth. This is season 9, episode 8. Recording on February 21st.
Let's get ready to bowl!
We're talking about bowling.
Bowling?
Bowling.
Bowling?
Bowling.
Bowling.
Bowling. We're going bowling?
Ah, fuck it, dude. Let's go bowling.
Which means I believe we're only 2 weeks away from bowling. Now, I've been waiting to get an update from Bert at LDI about the number of people who have signed up, and I know a couple people have. But as it stands, we are bowling, baby. Bolero in Lilburn, Georgia. Saturday, March 9th, from 1 to 3 p.m., boy. Y'all get the free shoes. Pop. He wouldn't say pop.
He doesn't. Does he say pop?
No, he wouldn't say pop. He's from the South. And 2 food items. Up to 23 people.
New Orleans might say pop.
That's true.
I really wasn't sure.
This for adults 18. First 10 people to sign up get the gig. So just email RLEVENTLDI. That's Radio Labyrinth, RLEventLDI at yahoo.com to get your RSVP. So there you go. There you go. Hi, welcome to the show. How's everybody doing? Did you have a good week?
Mm-hmm. It's uneventful. Well, Leela, she passed her training, so that was exciting.
Does she
Leela,
sit and shake hands and stuff now?
No.
She just doesn't attack the other dogs anymore.
Well, that really wasn't the problem. It's just she has impulse control problems where, if she wants to do something, she just does it. She doesn't care what the consequences are. So we had to do an entire obstacle course. And I had to get her to sit on this thing. And then I had to put a long leash on her because we were outdoors in this big parking lot. And the leash is like 30 feet long. And I had to back away 30 feet from her. She had to wait. She had to stay on that place. And there was like 60 dogs in this test. Everybody was testing all around us. And doggone it if she didn't do it.
Good. Doggone it.
She waited until I said, come, and then she came.
That's what I'm talking about.
What's next for Leela?
Hopefully get adopted.
Nice. Maybe Dave Portnoy will talk about that later. Maybe Dave Portnoy will come down and adopt her.
I don't think her story's sad enough.
We had a lot of views last week. I don't know if we paid for them or if people are just being nice, but we had a lot of views. So thank you. If you're new here, welcome. But I want to get right into what I think is the elephant in the room, and that would be the ending of True Detective, which I was not pleased with. Season 4. I had so many things I liked about this season of True Detective season 4. Did everybody watch it? Because I don't want to spoil.
Oh, yeah.
Steph?
I did.
All right. I'm probably the only one that didn't like the ending.
I don't think that's true.
So let me start out by saying at the beginning, Jodie Foster and then, Metal Cheeks, they go out and find a cave where they think all the bad stuff happened. And, if I were investigating that case, as soon as I got to that ice cave, I'd be like, well, I guess we'll never know. I am not going down there. I am not going down in an ice cave. I'm not going into any cave, but especially an ice one where everything looks the same and you don't know your way out. And at the time, they didn't know it was connected to the research facility. So not only did they go down in this cave.
Right. I was worried about how they were going to get out. Like,
me too. It gave me
spray paint or something.
Didn't you get anxiety? They had no rope. They didn't mark the path, Jeff said. There's fucking snow outside.
When it got real tight against their chests and they were up to slide through it, very claustrophobic.
Yeah, like season 1. That was their Carcosa.
Yes. Yeah. And so the stud cheeks, metal cheeks, she falls down in the hole. Jodie Foster shining a light on her. You know what I would have said? The other officers will be here any minute now.
The other officers will be here any minute now.
Was she a great big fat person?
It gave me Silence vibes. It's not the only time I got Silence of the Lambs vibes. But, her looking down into a hole and then she falls into it. And then the story just gets so fucking convoluted and weird. And one more nice thing. I forget how good of an actress Jodie Foster is because she's not in a lot. She's not in a lot, and she's kind of in that way like Matt Dillon, who isn't in an awful lot of stuff, but everything that they're in, their part is really good, even if the movie stinks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see him a lot anymore, and she doesn't do tons and tons of work. I thought she was good. I thought most of the people in the show were really good, but I just was really let down by the ending. Feel free to jump in and correct me.
I liked the ending.
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
liked
it was
it
that
better
bad.
than season 1. I mean, I liked it
You're
better.
just mad because Matthew McConaughey didn't show up.
No, I didn't care. I wanted a resolution that wasn't the cleaning ladies fucking killed them all.
Well, I mean,
They jerked you off all 5 episodes. It was supernatural, or it's tied to the first season, and da 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 da. And then the cleaning ladies killed them because they were mad. That didn't make sense.
Oh, they were mad because they killed Annie.
their friend, yeah.
I know, but
And no one suspects the Inuit ladies who are supposed to be so submissive, and everybody discounts them, but they were strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they gave you no inkling at all.
well, isn't that a good story point if they give you no inkling at all?
No. I don't.
You wanted it to be something supernatural, and I think in a way it was kind of both things were
That
serviced.
creature, whatever that creature was.
It wasn't supernatural. That was a dinosaur. Not a dinosaur, but it was a frozen fossil of a whale that really existed, and that they were draining the shit out of to try to extend people's lives.
But I do think there was a spirit that was alluded that there is a spirit out there. That's why they were looking horrified when they were found.
Yeah.
So I do think that the whatever it was did take them. Maybe it took the sister, but it didn't want Navarro.
Mm-mm. No, but Navarro is just, what is she, the wandering stranger now?
I think she took the walk. I think she did exactly what she knew she was going to do and left those tokens. And then at the end, they're still there in Ennis. So that was her ghost. And Jodie Foster, now that she's opened up to knowing that there is something on the other side, she was able to perceive her, to see it.
That could be. I didn't love the ending either, Tim, but it's more in line with the fact that I think the plight of the Indigenous women is horrifying, and everything that they go through. I've listened to I don't know how many podcasts about the crap in Canada and all this other stuff, but I want to watch a show like this for some out there, whatever.
Escapism.
I don't want to learn a lesson. Yes. I don't want to be informed about something terrible that's happening, like for real. I mean, that's my only thing about it. It was very heavy-handed with the whole.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know that the original creator, what's his name, Nick Pizzolatto, he was trashing this season on Instagram and on social media.
But how dare him? Because season 2 was an absolute turd,
Of course.
Absolute turd.
But what happens in situations like this is that fucking reverse marketing kicks in, that faked, ginned up, phony, he's a misogynist, and there's people who like him because they're guys and they don't want to see strong women characters. You know, the difference is that I liked both of those characters. I liked the actresses, even though the shit in the face was distracting. That actress, by the way, I found out that's her personal style. So the director was like, okay, go ahead and leave him in. You know, Steph brought that up after the first episode. It never really bothered me. I'm just saying that
it did bother me the first episode, but I just got used to it, and I just started thinking that they're out there in the middle of nowhere. Who's going to be a state trooper out there?
Right. Anybody.
Right. They're going to accept her with her studs in her cheeks because she'll do a job hardly anybody wants to do.
But I didn't find it to be satisfying ending. So, I mean, I don't know. I put them in order now of season 1, season 3, season 4, and then season 2. Season 2 being by far the worst and most unnecessary story. I had a little sympathy for the characters in season 3, both of them.
Yeah, 3 had some highlights. Had some real highlights. If I had to mark them, I'd say 1, 3, 4, 2.
Yeah, that's what 1, 3, 4, 2. That's where I go. So we're counting
We're not counting in the correct way. Dear Casey, why does that woman on True Detective Season 4 have shit in her face? made out of metal. We may never know.
Think she'll get anybody will get an Emmy nomination?
Jodie should.
She should.
Yeah.
She should. Because she made me, I was really starting to zone out because it was so much crying and so much introspection. And then she did her scene. And she's just such a good actress. So good. She brought me back. I was just like, at any moment, she was going to be getting pinballed.
She's going to be doing the pinball.
By a polar bear. Finn Bennett should also get a nomination. He was really good in it.
The kid.
Yeah, the kid.
The baby Matt Damon.
Baby Damon.
Wasn't this not supposed to be a True Detective?
Yes, it was. It was
supposed to be a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
And they just, Pizzolatto said, okay, we'll just slap this on here and blah.
Kind of like Die Hard 3.
Yeah, and then he was like, and then we'll see Rust Cole, an apparition of him out on the ice, and then we'll tie it back, but we'll never mention it again.
Right. I think I got sucked in too much to Screen Rant, or not Screen Rant. What's that site where the guy has the little poodle with the shirt on? It's like a Blockbuster. What is that?
I know who you're talking about with the little talking dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy was the guy that shows you the 7,000 Easter eggs in this episode that tied it back. I read all of his comments. It was like, fuck you. You had us all believing it was tied in there. You fucking looked too much into it. Well, don't get mad at that guy.
I thought wrapping it up the way they did was nice because if you remember in the first season, the ending was kind of like Lord of the Rings. It just kept going and going and going. And this one didn't. It was nice and neat. It wrapped everything up and it was over. I appreciated that for this story as opposed to how the first one did. And if you remember, the first one didn't have anything to do with supernatural stuff either. It led you along that way, but then pulled the rug out from under you and, it's just mean old white people.
Yeah.
But he was practicing some sort of witchery with his Carcossas. So there was something supernatural. There's supernatural elements to these True Detectives.
Right.
While not being supernatural.
Right. The cause isn't supernatural, but it's in a supernatural element in the world.
Right.
And there was a cult, and they led you to believe in this season that the cult was going to be involved, and it wasn't. So,
I think ultimately the what were the name? The Tibbets or the people that owned the preacher from the first season, that family, they owned the research station, and it was their money putting this thing forward to find this, cure, thing that will cure everything and extend your life. So, ultimately it was the same cult.
Well, I want some of that dead whale juice. So once they find that shit, I'm ready to go.
Hey, man, needs of the many versus the needs of the few.
Mm-hmm. I want the opposite of the dead whale shit.
Why?
Whatever the opposite is, I'll take.
You just want to age faster. So I guess that's our recap of True Detective Season 4.
News, trailers, and trends with STEPH.
Well, I could see that, Tim, you have already downloaded Beyonce's new country album, haven't you?
No, I haven't downloaded it, but I have listened to that song a couple of times and watched the video for it a couple of times, yes.
And you love it, don't you?
I don't. Are you baiting me here? I don't hate it like John Schneider does. John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah.
Them Dukes.
Well, I don't like one of them. I think the one is not a good song, but the 16 Carriages song is okay. Would I call them country? I don't care. I mean, who cares, really? But John Schneider made a comment about how they always have to pee on every tree.
And
that's why she made this album.
Dog has to mark its territory and pee on every tree, right?
Yeah.
Now, the situation for him, and it doesn't matter. He doesn't get any acting gigs anymore. I mean, shit, the last thing I saw him in was, what was he, a swinger on Curb Your Enthusiasm one season for a couple of episodes? That's the last thing I saw him in. I don't think he's a racist person. I don't think he's trying to be racist. I don't think he's saying they, but I don't think he's meaning they, meaning race. I do think he's saying that, Beyonce is extremely, say what you want about Taylor Swift. Beyonce is, like, if Taylor Swift is here Beyonce's up here. Beyonce is the queen bee, Bay. I think that's how you say it.
Sure.
Probably the most successful solo artist, female solo artist in the last 30 years, maybe 20 years. Longer, I don't know.
Madonna.
No, it's past Madonna, post-Madonna. Post-Madonna.
Yeah, okay.
She has a husband who's a smart guy. He's a producer. He makes his own stuff, but he produces a lot of people. Jay-Z. Now, is this a country? If you think it's a country song, it is. If you think it's not a country song, it isn't. It's just up to you. It's up to you. It's how you feel about country music. Now, if there's a radio station in let's say there's a country radio station in St. Louis, there is. I don't know what it's called. They'll probably play it. If there's a country music station in Idaho, where there's only white people living, they might not play it. And then you have to consider the fact that who cares about radio stations? Country radio, top 40 radio, hip hop radio are music formats that people still listen to, and classic rock too. But all the demos for radio stations, and I speak of which I know things about because I know about these things. The audience just keeps getting older and older. They're not replacing it. And radio has the same problems that movies, television, and books and everything has, where there's consumers that start when they're young. Young people don't give a flying fuck about any of this stuff, do they?
No, and this is what I was going to ask you. So a lot of the controversy about this radio station in Oklahoma that was refusing to play the song when people were calling in and requesting it, right?
Yeah.
And then they bent to the pressure and started playing it because they said it wasn't a country song or whatever. Who is calling to request a song who is doing that now? I mean, you can play anything you want, anytime you want. It's on Spotify. It's on anything.
Right.
Where they're getting tons of phone calls from people about playing this song.
It's phony then, because people aren't.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's phony. It's all marketing. It's all it's made up marketing. The controversy's fake. The fact that people are calling radio stations and requesting it, fake. So that they can get a story that'll go on social media, that'll go viral and promote the song. And that is the way things have to be marketed now, because it's the only way for the people are going to talk about it is if there's controversy. We've talked about this over and over and over again. But Dolly Parton can make a rock and roll album. And
I blame Hootie and the Blowfish for this.
You blame Darius, don't you?
I blame Charlie Pride. It is his fault.
Black musicians can be country artists, and white guys can be hip hoppers. And before I dig a hole that people misunderstand what I'm trying to say, is that Beyonce song has a country feel to it. Listen, what is that song, Old Town Road? What was that guy's name?
Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas X.
Or as Paul Stanley used to say on the Von Hessler Doctrine, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X put that song out, and it was huge. And they have to take what they're going to get when it comes to...
Let's go on back to Tim McGraw and Nellie. That song was humongous.
Yes, it was.
That was a straight up blend of R&B and a country.
Yep.
It premiered at #1. That's the thing.
What song?
The Beyonce
song.
It premiered
Again, that's
#1 on the country charts.
That's fake.
That's what I was going to say. How does something premiere #1? It used to be based off of pre-sales.
It's all metadata. It's all metrics. It's how many people listen to it on Spotify, how many people listen to it on iTunes. It's not based on sales. It's based on streams. YouTube, every place where you can stream something is counted, and that's how it went to #1 right away. Everything changed in that it used to be people at radio stations would report that they were playing the song, and they would tell you how many requests they got for a song, and that's how those charts were made. And then it became sales. Garth Brooks, a month before they started doing SoundScan, country albums didn't debut at #1. As soon as they came up with SoundScan, Garth Brooks was #1 all the time. And it was weird. It became more about the sales than it became about plays and requests. And this is like that times 1,000. So it will debut at #1. There's no chart. There aren't program directors going, well, I'll add that new song if you send me some whores and some cocaine. There might be, but I doubt it. I thought it would be funny if Willie Nelson recorded a trap song. So I made a short one. Can you play it or no?
Skirt, 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 diddy scare. Skirt, skirt, skirt. Diddy scare. Diddy scare. Diddy scare. Trap life, Willie slinging nugs in his underwear. Guzzling down some scissor and twirling dreadlocks in his hair. Trap life, Willie doing Molly with all of them bitches right her. Diddy scare. Bitch, you can't pop a Zanny if you ain't twerk your shit getting paid. Diddy scare. Bitch, you're blocking all my bullets, so get your fat ass out of the way. Diddy scare. Bitch, you better be ducking or you ain't gonna live out the day. Diddy scare. Now Morgan Wallen, he be singing and he got a big old hit. Auto-tuned Morgan Wallen sound like he got his mouth stuck on a tit. Diddy scare. Turning country music into a big old pile of wet shit. Trap life, Willie slinging nugs in his underwear. Diddy scare. Guzzling down some scissor and twirling dreadlocks in his hair. Diddy Trap scare. Life, Willie doing Molly with all of them bitches right her. Diddy scare. Diddy scare.
This song is really over the top, isn't it, Steph? You were a little worried about it.
I was,
I don't want anybody.
It's a little concerning to me.
I don't want anybody to worry about it because it's just a goofy song.
I know that it's the imagery and
it's Willie Nelson with gold teeth and pot leaves.
It just
the Duke boys are gonna like it though.
That's what I feel like. John Schneider would probably really like this video.
I don't think he'll like it because
I wonder what Lamont thinks of it.
Lamont who?
Stanford.
Lamont Sanford. We better ask.
How about you just put it in the Patreon? So if you become Patreon, you can watch.
We're going to put it right here. It's funny. I think it's funny. It made me laugh and I wasn't even stoned. Dustin, do you think we should put it in or not?
It's a satiric take, so yeah.
You think Willie would like it?
I don't think Willie would even care.
I don't think you'd give a shit.
What I'm saying is that the overreaction by certain types of people to the fact that Beyonce recorded a song that she says is country and people want to hear on country radio stations, the overreaction is either super ridiculous or fake. And maybe it's a little bit of both.
Agreed, 100%.
I just went, oh, and by the way, who fucking cares? It's, country radio stations have the same problems that every radio station has, is we need advertisers. And to get advertisers, you need listeners. So if you're playing something that your listeners want to hear, we're not a society where, white people like this and black people like this. We're not that society anymore. We're a society of old people like things and young people like things. And the things that young people like, you can't measure and sell advertising. They're still trying to figure that out.
They keep trying to make it, they try to make it in such a way. And could it possibly be that she is a bored billionaire?
Yeah.
Doesn't have, she's like, let me just do this. I'm going to do this. I mean, so what?
She's an artist. And she might get bored. Jay-Z, he's not dropping a new album every 10 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. She's not trying to make money anymore. That's not even the thing. It's like, she's just bored.
She's bored. Beyonce and Jay-Z are intelligent, awesome artists who make shit and they're bored. And that is why they made a country record. And who's going to say that they can't? Nobody. If people didn't if it weren't a catchy song, no one would play it. But it's a catchy song. And the same thing goes with Old Town Road. That was a catchy song. And guys like Billy Ray Cyrus, who's like, well, I'm gonna help him with this because this is what he wants to do. We don't live in that weird society where things are polarized anymore. Everybody just likes things that they like, and it comes and it goes, and sometimes you forget about it and sometimes you don't. And this is something no one will be talking about in 2 weeks. Except that it's a good song and people like it. So enjoy the Willie Nelson song. That isn't really Willie Nelson at all. In fact, we're going to call him Wilby Wilson. That's Wilby Wilson with Trap Life Willie.
What if you call it Nellie Wilson?
Nellie Wilson.
Nellie Wilson. Nellie Olson. Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie. She did not age well. Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie did not age well, but she put gold in her teeth and she's a pot grower. And she also records trap songs. And that's that. Have
you guys seen the new Shatner documentary trailer?
Yes.
Are you excited about it? It looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm not. Where's mine? A bill that people talk about all the time, and not enough about how terrible he is.
Brad, I'm in a documentary.
Brad. Howard. Brad.
Do they still have him on Howard Stern, George Takei?
No.
Is he in this documentary? I don't remember seeing him in the trailer.
I don't remember seeing him in there. I just saw all Shatner.
Yes, that's what you want.
His narration of it was so exciting just to hear him talk about it.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of it. His experiences of going into outer space. It hinged a lot on this. I mean, it really changed him, and this is supposed to be, him looking back on life after that experience.
Risk is our business.
Everything's risky, but there's something beautiful about that.
I'll face whatever you have behind those doors and come out exactly as I went in.
I haven't changed the world. But what is a legacy are the good deeds.
Do you remember when he came down and he landed and he was so emotional? It's like, you're in space and it's dark and it's beautiful and it's in the sky. And then you have these two fucking bitches down there. And the people that hang out with Bezos' wife, these billionaire bitches, like, and blah, 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 blah. And this Shatner's trying to have an emotional moment. When am I going to go to space? Brad and I are going to rent a suite on the moon. We must stop Elon Musk.
Well, I think the really cool thing about this is that it's being funded by fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, everybody that donated to make this gets a piece of this movie.
Even if you hate William Shatner, you've been alive long enough to let that hate go away. The guy's in his 90s. How old is he?
93.
93 years old. Willie Nelson.
Why would you hate him? Why would you hate him? What did he do?
People that worked with him, 70 years ago don't like him.
When they show those old images of him from like the 50s and 60s, you know how somebody will say, oh, that guy fucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
Oh, yeah.
Old shots of him, that's what you would say when he walks in the room.
You'd think that the guy on our show who's cousins with him would get him on the show.
Who's cousins with William Shatner?
Not really.
You're cousins with William Shatner. You're related to him. You made that up?
It was bullshit.
Who told you those lies?
Some guy who was into genealogy in the family.
Oh.
But it turns out it wasn't true.
Damn it.
You were related to William Schitzner.
Yes. But it is true you are related to Shia LaBeouf.
Do it! Just do it!
Well, Tim, you should be so excited. I know you're a huge Beatles fan. And Sam Mendes, acclaimed director, American Beauty and whatnot, he's decided that he's going to make 4 separate movies from each Beatles individual view.
I'm calling right now. I'm only going to see the Ringo one.
Because it's going to be a Western.
Is it really? Like he's that lizard?
No, the rumor's always been about Ringo that he chose that name because he liked either a TV show or a movie called Ringo. And Lorne Greene did a song, Ringo, the Man of the West.
But anyway, I was talking to George up here in our cloud, and I thought, well, Ringo's almost has to be a Western. George's is going to be some sort of mashup of Hare Krishna and DMT, sort of like a trip, and you'll have to take acid to watch the movie. It'll be 9 hours long. Then Paul's will be some sort of superhero Marvel movie where he's Captain Wings, and mine will be anime or manga. Yoko. No.
It'd be interesting to see them do 4 different productions using the exact same actors, but from 4 different perspectives.
Same people playing the Beatles in all 4 movies.
Yeah, but each movie is going to be from each one of the actors' perspectives.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that idea. Ringo, by the way, you hear that Ringo crawled out of the sewers from the Blitz. And then
he literally crawled out of the sewer.
His family were in the tunnels, the tube tunnels during the Blitz. And he had tuberculosis when he was a kid, and he was in a coma. He was in a hospital bed for a year. So he had a rough life. And then, John, he had a rough life too. His dad left, and then his dad shows up when he's rich. Old Freddie Lennon wanted money. John told him to fuck off, and Freddie put out a record where he sings. Real shyster. But I have an idea for who could play them. So for Ringo, I want this. These are modern casting sensibilities. Ringo was Cynthia Erivo. because she's playing the Wicked Witch of the West. I think she'd make a good Ringo. George would be Tilda Swinton. You know, she's lithe.
She could do a good George, I think.
Paul, Melissa McCarthy. She's funny. She's cheeky. And then John Brie Larson. I think that you got your good movie right there. You got your Beatles movies right there. You don't have to hire guys that kind of look like them. You don't have to pretend. And then there's your Beatles movie.
Why wouldn't you just have, what's his face? Paige do it.
Paige?
Elliot Page?
Yeah.
Elliot Page. She could play who?
He's going to be Pete Best.
He can be Pete Best.
Can be Pete
She
Best.
could definitely be Paul.
Kind of looks like him.
Yeah, she could be Paul. He could be Paul. Oh, they could be Paul. We could all be Paul. We could be Paul. Well, I thought we would be well dead, like maybe 1,000 years dead by the time this happened. But old Elon, he's back at it. He's got a Neuralink and it's working. This person is controlling the mouse to their computer with just a thought.
So he needs to get off the ketamine. You guys going to get a chip put in your brain? All right, let's go down there. Steph, would you get a chip put in your brain so you can move a mouse without it?
Ooh, I'm thinking I'm going to wait till it does more stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I need one that can pause and fast forward.
I had to hack. Dustin.
If I had a medical condition that I needed, like, I don't know, like diabetes or something, insulin or something that it could control, my greatest fear would somebody would walk up behind me and start saying Control Alt Delete. Yeah. And you think about it and you reset yourself.
We'll have antivirus software. You have to update it. If you don't update it, then there's a possibility that you had. And for $8.99, you get Neuralink Plus, so you can access our AI, and you can think in more than 135 characters. Neuralink Plus. But you have to
talk in your sleep. Will you start talking about like micro perfumes and shit like that?
Well, you might get advertisement. You get advertisements. You'll be talking to somebody, and then an advertisement will show up. And you can ignore that for only $8.99.
I think maybe you just start doing that one scene, Martin Sheen and The Departed, where you just go microprocessors.
Micro what? Microprocessors.
No, this shit makes me. Do you guys remember that 1981 movie? It was Natalie Wood's last film, and she died while they were making it, so they had to fucking do something with it. But Chris, what's his name? Chris Robertson or Cliff Robertson. Cliff Robertson.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Walken are in this movie. Yeah. Do you remember Jeff? Do you remember it? It's like they were creating virtual reality.
Yeah.
It was a neural link, so you felt what was going on. Somebody would wear a helmet and record something that they were doing, and then you could put the helmet on and experience what they were experiencing. And this is a real early film. It was kind of a groundbreaking film. But she died, and that was the press for that movie. What is the only wood doesn't float? Natalie Wood. I don't do a good Christopher. I don't care though. But the thing that always sticks with me from that movie is that one guy that works there records himself having sex with a hot lady, and then the CEO of the company finds that one, and his wife has to call Natalie Wood and Christopher Walken because he's just had the orgasm on loop, and he's laying on his couch with a robe on. He's just going, and you see him thrusting up and down. There's a big stain on the robe.
Could you imagine being one of those people that have that condition?
What condition?
That condition.
I am one of those people that would have that condition. I'd be wearing the masturbation.
But there are some people that just constantly do that. They can't stop doing it.
Yeah, like orgasms every 2 minutes. Yeah.
They can't work. They can't do anything. That's their whole life.
Okay, give me a diaper. I want to be that guy.
I feel like it gets old after a while. Like
imagine anything.
You can never recover.
You can't eat chocolate cake, torte cake every 10 seconds.
No, it's like you're waking up out of naps like that. I mean, it's just like.
Tom Segura's got a great bit about that.
Does he? What is it?
What about persistent genital arousal disorder? That is a fancy way of saying never not coming. These are people that have orgasms every 90 seconds, and they can't have jobs. Why can't they have jobs, Tom? Because they're coming all the time.
Man, I can't watch their podcast anymore. Now I watch. There's a cottage industry now of people who comment on. Do you guys watch any of these podcasts where so this is what's going on in the world of Joe Rogan versus so and so?
No.
I barely have time to watch Felicity.
Yes, I know. Podcast Cringe is the name of the one I'm talking about. And all he does is talk about it. He gets hundreds of thousands of views. What are we doing wrong?
I don't know. I saw the one on Bert where he was upset that the Florida State did not give him he failed the class. He was in college for 7 years, went to the teachers and was like, I need 2 credits to get my diploma. Can we work something out? And he was a creative writing major. And the creative writing teacher was like, didn't you just get a book deal? And he was like, yeah, I got a book deal. And he was like, fuck you. I'm not giving you the chance to do that. He was like, what? He was like, no. He goes, I'm a creative writing professor. I can't get a book deal, but your partying ass can stay here for 7 years and not graduate and get one. Fuck you. I'm not giving it to you. And I was like, good for him.
Yeah.
Steph, I want to hear about the anti-aging drug a drug for dogs.
Yeah, I brought this up a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you did. And they are starting studies where they are asking for dogs that are 10 years old and weigh more than 15 pounds because they're going to enroll them in a clinical trial where this is supposed to hopefully isolate the IGF-1 hormone, which is accelerated in larger dogs. That's why larger dogs live usually to be between 10 and 12 years old. That's usually what you get out of them. So they're trying to look at a way of slowing that IGF-1 hormone down to where they won't age as fast. So I don't know how this is going to work, though, for as being an owner of larger dogs that we've had to let go. They might live longer, but what's to say their hips and stuff are still going to keep
they
up?
need to start it earlier, maybe start it when they're 5 or something.
And you're probably right. And that's probably what it's going to end up being because, I mean, you can't just make a dog's leg not go out on them.
Right.
What are you laughing at, Tim?
It made me think of that Jerky Boys car. He's like, no, it's Willie the Jackass. He's limping. He didn't have any...
What I do is I drag the ass side of the costume around the park, because the back leg's a cripple. I ain't got nobody to fill that spot.
He's just dragging himself.
I don't know. Maybe at some point it'll help him too. Who knows? Who knows? But I think they're trying to act like they want dogs to live longer, but this is really more working to get to us.
Yeah,
what they're probably.
The elite people do not want to die, and they want to take all their shit with them.
Well, I have an older big dog, and one of the places, because these studies aren't everywhere, but there's going to be one starting in Conyers, as a matter of fact, in March. So I've applied for it. I'm going to see if I can't get Sam, my border collie, into it. And
are they going to do it for little dogs too?
Yeah, but I think little dogs live a fair amount longer than big dogs. I think that's why they're starting there.
I want our Boston Terrier Rizzo to be able to see again and not have to get an Addison shot every month.
Oh.
Yeah, poor thing. Her breath smells like a coffin.
Well, that's the death. That's the sweet nectar of death. I've noticed that on all of my old dogs towards the end. But one happy story at the end. Dave Portnoy, we'll love him or hate him.
I can't get my joke in. I wrote a joke.
I'm sorry. Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not very funny. To get the drug, you have to take your dog to Empis and defeat the Gog Magog. Okay, go on.
You have to go to True Detective Land and dig in the ice for some snake.
Some whale juice. Whale snake juice.
You think that's what it is?
I read about it. It's an extinct type of whale that could go on land. And it was the apex predator during whatever era it was.
And what was it called?
I don't remember. Snake whale.
Willie the Jackass.
Willie the Jackass. It's not me drinking. It's Willie the Jackass. No, we can't have Willie the Jackass at our theme park. Oh, come on. You can get in there with me. Talk about David Portnoy, because he's one of those guys that people either hate or like.
Yeah, he's pretty polarizing.
He's a pizza reviewer. I didn't know that he adopted dogs. What did he do here?
Well, he runs Barstool Sports. He's loaded. I mean, unbelievably rich. And he's a big dog fan or whatever. He saw a story from Lifeline here in Atlanta where they had rescued a bunch of dogs from a really bad hoarding case. They had 26 dogs, and they were going to have to put a lot of them down, which they're, you know how it's going right now. But he saw the story, and he jumped on his private jet and flew into Atlanta. No, he talked to the foster and flew her on a private jet out to him with the dog. And he adopted her, and he named her Miss Peaches.
Aww.
And she's a sweet little pitiful old pit bull. She's, you can tell she's had a really, really hard life, and now she's living the life with him. And he has made up all these T-shirts that say Miss Peaches on it. And if you buy one, they donate all of the profits to Lifeline in Atlanta. So awesome. I'm assuming he's going to be raising probably hundreds of thousands of dollars for them, which they really need. So I thought that was very cool, and it was like a really nice, positive story.
That is cool.
He's a hell of a marketer.
Yes, he is.
He's a hell of a marketer. But if you see the videos of him in his house, I mean, all of his dogs are old, there's just a bunch of strays, and he seems like that is true about him, that he is genuinely a dog person. He really
takes one bite out of them, and then he keeps them or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't like you. You're going to have to leave our dog shelter. You have voted for Trump. Anyway, thank you, Steph.
You're welcome.
One last story that I'll throw out there, and I think Jeff and I will be interested in this, and maybe Dustin. Freestyle Digital Media, which is owned by Byron Allen. You remember Byron Allen?
Yeah. Real people?
Yeah, but he's a billionaire, a smart businessman.
Don't they own the Weather Channel?
He did. He sold it.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to buy Paramount or Discovery or one of those places, but his company has picked up the documentary Hendry about Phil Hendry, and that will be available to download and stream sometime in March. And my boss gave me Phil's phone number and email address, and so I emailed him and texted him. No response, of course. But my boss used to work with him, and he goes, he'll get back to you. And he didn't. But I did find the people who made the movie, and hopefully we'll be able to interview him, because I've always wanted to. I met him one time. I like him. I have a feeling that he's like, fuck radio.
The following advertisement contains celebrity impersonations and is not an endorsement.
Radio Labyrinth is brought to you by Atlanta Pizza and Gyro.
I think it's pronounced Gyro, Michael.
Gyro.
Whatever.
Atlanta Pizza and Gyro is ready for the winter season with over 40 beers in cans and bottles, and 16 beers on tap, with 12 of those being local Georgia and Southeast craft beers.
Their current featured selection is Jekyll Brewing's Cooter Brown Ale. This brown ale is the perfect wintertime brew with its silky smooth body, sweet caramel and chocolate aroma, and a slight refreshingly bitter finish.
They once again would like to thank all the radios and fans for listening to this podcast. Stop by the restaurant and mention you heard about them on Radio Labyrinth for a free dessert.
By the way, their food truck is on hiatus until late February due to winter weather, but there are always exceptions, and if you want to reserve a specific date, please contact Mike Hall at 770-483-6228.
And don't forget, they're open for dine-in and takeout Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and noon to 9 p.m. on Saturday. They're closed on Sundays.
That's nice.
There's a legend behind Cooter Brown Ale. Cooter Brown supposedly lived on the line which divided the North and South during the American Civil War, making him eligible for military draft by either side. He had family on both sides of the line, so he did not want to fight in the war. He decided to get drunk and stay drunk for the duration of the war, so that he would be seen as useless for military purposes and would not be drafted. Ever since, colloquial and proverbial ratings of drunkenness have been benchmarked against the legendary drinker as drunk as Cooter Brown or drunker than Cooter Brown. Yeah, we've all been there, boy.
Do you have commercial or residential construction printing needs? Sure, we all do. Well, what are you waiting for? Contact LDI Reaper Printing of Athens, in Athens, Georgia, since 2005, with fast turnaround and affordable prices. Call 706-316-9366 or email them at athens@ldiline.com.
Guys, are you reading the online comments?
got to read some of these comments.
I'm loving your guys' comments.
You're reading your own comments?
Yeah, they're really good. I worked hard on them.
The secret is don't read the comment cards.
Before we get to views and snooze and staff picks, let's read some comments from our Patreon only show, which you can get by being a Patreon member. Brian Jackson commented, "Steph, the ma'am dude." Roby Neely commented on that post as well. He said, "I'm glad Steph doesn't want to be called ma'am because I always want to refer to the group as the guys and I don't want to offend her. Plus, when she came back from hiatus, I so wanted to make the joke about her being back, adding some much needed testosterone to the podcast."
I like that. I really appreciate that. That they picked up on that.
Yes.
And I got a big old set. Can I say though, that girl that I had that altercation with, well, it's not an altercation, but you know what I'm saying. I saw her in the hall today, and we've lost a bunch of new people again. You know, we had a nice little fat turnover. I saw her in the hall, and I thought, oh man, I hope she doesn't think I'm a psycho. So I stopped her and I said, "Hey, I just want to make sure that you understand, you know, I was just," she was like, "No, girlie, I love your personality."
Aw. That's awesome.
And then I was like, no.
Or nothing?
No, absolutely not.
Our YouTube video that Dustin kicks ass at has some as well. Brett Perkins 6888 says the polish Dustin puts on these videos is top shelf. The same holds true for the Patreon show. Thank you, Dustin. You show up every show. Daniel Sweat 2591 says, "Great show. You all have good chemistry in the way you ping off each other." Oh, and Tim, that Rick Beato is the ace of breaking down songs. Peace. Ebor1. That I turned on the Super Bowl and promptly fell asleep, woke up at halftime, turned on a video game. He also says, oh yeah, Mike Diefenbach, 9151 said, "I only smoke when I drink. Mikey liked drinking." And I lived with him in 1989, and he does. But so do I, or did, certainly back then. I think it's cool when people that we know listen. I mean, that we knew before we started doing it. That sounded really mean. It's not what it meant. I think it's cool.
Like nobody I know listens to this.
You tell them?
I beg them. They don't care, Tim. They don't
I ain't
care
listening to no people talk about bullshit stuff.
Not those people.
Oh, I'm sure if we did a Jesus podcast, I'd have all kinds of people following.
Oh, but we do all those too. Yeah. No, we can't. We're not going to. I'm already scared about the Willie video or the Willie Loman video or whatever we called it. I thought it was fun, and I don't mean anything negative by it at all.
Views. Or.
And snooze.
Yeah, last week was Resident Alien Far North and Life and Beth. I watched the first one of all those.
I'm planning on it. I have not gotten to it yet, though.
This week, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live comes on. This is the Rick and Michonne Walking Dead show.
Are you going to watch it?
I have to. I got to stick it out.
You are a lifer for this show. Like you're a diehard. I absolutely appreciate that. I do. I don't.
I agree with you. I've always felt like it's one of Jeff's most admirable qualities.
Well, you're not giving up. You still enjoy it. Some people don't enjoy it.
I'm curious to see how they resolve the Rick storyline.
So this same timeline,
a limited series. This is going to be probably flashback to before the end of the series, and then go forward from there.
Okay.
So that's on AMC. The second best hospital in the galaxy on Prime.
Yeah.
It's already been renewed for a second season.
Natasha Lyonne, man, she's turning into not only a good actress, but a good producer or creator or whatever. She got all the Culkins, right?
All the brothers?
Yeah.
All of the whole family is in this, I believe. What's it about, Jeff?
It's a sci-fi comedy. It's about a pair of intergalactic intergalactically renowned surgeons that work for the second best hospital in the universe and in the galaxy. It looks pretty good.
I think so too. Have you seen a trailer? I haven't yet.
No, but it's got like that big mouth kind of animation style.
Cool.
Looks pretty good. I'm going to use it.
That's a views.
And then Shogun starts on FX.
That's definite views. I can't wait to watch that.
Looks great.
It looks
Did you watch the original?
I did.
I watched the original too, so I'm kind of curious how they're going to do it.
Wasn't the original in black and white?
No, Richard Chamberlain.
Yeah, it was like in the 70s.
TV miniseries.
It was the one big before Thornbirds?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
might have been late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, on.
Yeah, I think it looks good to views for me.
Yeah, I need something new to watch. Series wise, like drama. So that'll do.
Now, I tried to watch House of Ninjas and I couldn't do it. I watched half of Oppenheimer. I don't get it.
I ended up watching all of Oppenheimer. I wasn't that impressed. I mean, it was really well done and well acted and everything, but I just didn't give a shit.
Where's it streaming, Jeff?
Peacock.
Peacock.
What is it with Frances or Florence Pugh and her boobs? Like, this is, it's ridiculous.
What?
It's so like, come
Why, did she show them
on.
all the time?
Yes. And it's like, it's not like a wow. You're just like, there's her boobs again. Yeah, cool.
There's some titties.
Yeah.
Staff picks. Mine is real simple. I enjoyed this week's Harlan Highway with Greg Fitzsimmons. I forget that I think Greg Fitzsimmons is really funny.
And he was just at the punchline. I was trying to get us to go.
Oh, yeah. I always miss him. I haven't seen him in a very long time, but I thought he was a fun guest on the Regular Guy show. Just how sarcastic and mean he was to...
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
He's very funny. And that podcast is funny. Harlan's always good, even if you don't know the comedian.
Mine's Taste Buds podcast. This week's the episode from the first episode from the cruise.
Are you going to be on it?
No, you maybe hear me laughing or something, but that's about it.
And what's Warriors?
And then Warriors coming on Netflix now. This is that show that's been on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been talking about it for years now. It's made by the guy that made Banshee. It's based on a story by Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
it's really good. All three seasons are on Netflix now.
How did it go from Max to Netflix?
Well, Netflix is buying up all these shows now. It's like since Suits got so big.
Yeah.
They're buying up all these other properties to show on Netflix.
So Warrior will end up blowing up like Laddermilk.
Yeah, I hope it does.
Yeah.
Well, mine is an old show, and it's on Prime, is Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start rewatching it.
With the original soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so good. And
You're going to keep watching even after Joel leaves?
Shh, hush your mouth. I mean,
Spoiler alert.
I mean,
Spoiler alert. It was on 20 years ago.
I was like 16 when I watched the show. I don't remember all that. Well, either way.
Henry Blake's helicopter crashes at the end of season 1 of Man.
I haven't seen Heat. I haven't seen it.
You've never seen Heat?
I think like Paul Provenza or somebody comes in to take over. I don't remember.
No, shut up. What? Paul Provenza? No.
Somebody like that. I can't remember who it was.
He is not a poor man's Rob Morrow. He's not a poor man's anything.
Paul Provenza on Late Night with David Letterman.
As long as Barry Corbin doesn't leave, that's my main.
Yeah, I think he sticks out.
He was a staple.
Then he buys a trailer in New Mexico and won't leave.
Let's see. Mine is an old movie. If you have a 4K television and you really want to enjoy some Jim Cameron, my suggestion is The Abyss. I watched that movie at the theater, and this version looks 1,000 times better than it did at the theater. I mean, you can see individual air bubbles. Like,
nice.
It's amazing. And the story's good, and they did use the director's cut to do the cut with, so it does have the longer alien section at the end, and the bringing the world together, trying to stop World War III kind of thing. But man, it's so impressive. I mean, the acting was phenomenal, and I had just forgotten how good of a movie it was, and that's available on Apple now.
Cool. Let's do some plugs. Every Monday, you can check out my audio-only podcast called Trambles. You can also check out the Popcast radio show. If you live in Atlanta, it's 7 or 10 p.m. This week it's 10 p.m. on 95.5 WSB or AM 750, or you can wait for the podcast to come out the following Monday. My guest this week is Joey Huffman, who is a keyboardist who has played keyboards on tour with Keith Richards, on 2 tours with Keith Richards. He was a member of the Georgia Satellites, Driving and Crying. He was with Soul Asylum when they were the backing band for Iggy Pop and Lou Reed at a concert to benefit the Hard Rock or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's a real interesting cat, and I really enjoyed talking to him. And he lives right here in Atlanta. But he's got a lot of great stories. He has a new book out that I suggest you check out. Next week, my guest will be Adam Richman from Man vs. Food. And
wait for that.
Eating the 80s.
Eating the 80s. His new show, his current show is coming back to history, the foods, or the food that made America, or something like that. Check out our buddy Mark Schrenkel on Cameo, Mark001. I bet you he would do one with the Stallone voice, or at least a puppet. Shout out to our Radio Labyrinth Patreon members. Go to patreon.com/Tim Andrews, and you can sign up at any level and have access to our Patreon only show. Please like us and review us no matter where you listen to us or watch us on YouTube. Leave comments and we'll read them, and we'll have a lot of fun doing that. Thank you to our executive producers who come in at the $25 level: Tim Slayton, Brian and Chelsea Smith, Jeff Peterson, Jim Fortner, Terry Fuller, Chris Chandler, Roby Neely, Kevin Jackson, Mike D, and Matt Carter. Producers, if you come in, you get a t-shirt, a sticker, and a weekly shout out. And you know what? We didn't mention the store this week, Dustin.
Yep, store's still active. We got the special of RLP123. If you use that code at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. And I've got that running just continuously. So get in there and get some stuff, and we'll get it out to you.
If you're not too stoned, let's talk about Barkville.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Well, Barkville is a dog rescue that I foster for, and we need money. So go to barkvilledogrescue.org, and if you donate to us, you can help us save so many more dogs right now that really need our help. All of the shelters are full all over the Atlanta area, and we're kind of full ourselves. We have a lot of dogs in boarding. If you would like to offer to foster, that would be great. We have a lot of puppies right now. Lots of puppies. So if you just want to foster a puppy, I promise you won't have them long. Those always get adopted quickly. So just go to barkvilledogrescue.org. And then Sunday, March 3rd, you will see us out at Caffeine and Octane in Kennesaw. And we'll be there from, I don't know, something to something. 9 to 1, I think. 9 to 12. We'll be there from 9 to 12 on March 3rd.
And don't forget on Saturday, March 23rd, Jordan's Way live fundraiser.
Yeah, I'm still going to find out about this whole dog cage, that I'm going to be in a dog cage getting beat with pies and kicked in the crotch or whatever the hell.
The ice bucket pie challenge.
I'm going to be getting blue waffled for these dogs.
Oh, we'll end on a high note. All right. Keep it canine. And until next week, please remember to keep it canine.
Well, they say all good things come to an end.
What's that got to do with this show?